Islam, Islam, Islam. First and foremost, I'd like to rise to my highest height and give all perfect praise to our Mother, Father God of the universe, whom we Moors refer to as Allah, remaining standing and extending those honors to our ancestors, known and unknown, naming, recognizing all true and divine prophets, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Confucius, our last prophet in these last days and times, our illustrious Hebrew prophet, the Honorable Noble Jew Allah, first, second, and third form, remaining standing and extending those honors to our national officials at headquarters in Baltimore, Maryland, under the guidance and direction of our National Grand Sheik, Joe Bratton Day. Remaining standing and extending those honors to all of our chiefs, chiefesses, deputy chiefs, deputy chiefesses, our staff, our members, our citizens, our students, family, friends, and associates. I greet you all in the universal greeting of peace, Islam, Islam, Islam. I am your good brother and Sheikh Isaiah Orton Bay, calling out of Wayne County, Michigan Republic, Islam Moors, and I will be moderating our National Town Hall Educational Forum being brought to you by the Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America Incorporated, number 13, the Moorish American National Republic. Islam Moors, it's definitely an honor and a pleasure to be in the cipher with you all today, this evening. Islam. So today's date for the record is Sunday, May 23rd, 2021, according to the Gregorian calendar. Islam Moors, as always, we'd like to ask all those who are willing to please stand with us as we give homage and pray. And we do stand in our Moorish American posture, stand erect with our heels together. I apologize, Subhanallah. Our toes are separated at a 45-degree angle. Our upper arms are parallel to the floor. Our forearms are perpendicular. We have 5 fingers erect and together, closed tightly on our left. We have 2 fingers erect, closed tightly on our right hand. Islam. Allah, Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation by night and by day through his holy prophet, Jew Ali. Ameen. Islam Moors, and again, as I stated, it's definitely an honor and a pleasure to be in attendance with you all for our Moorish National Town Hall Educational Forum, again being brought to you by the Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America, Incorporated, number 13, the Moorish American National Republic, again under the guidance and direction of our National Grand Sheik, Joe Bratton Bay. Islam Moors, we will go into our administrative announcements, and I will give our first administrative announcement. Islam. On behalf of the Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America, Incorporated, number 13, the Moorish American National Republic, I would like to thank the guests that are on this Moorish National Town Hall meeting for joining us this evening. Our prophet, Noble Jew Ali, founded the ancient Canaanite temple in 1913 in Essex County, New Jersey. Later, in 1916, his missionary work was entitled the Moorish Divine and National Movement. In 1917, he transferred the movement to Cook County, Illinois. In 1925, the temple was called the Moorish Temple of Science. In 1926, the temple was incorporated as a civic organization. In 1927, the temple was unofficially adopted as the prophet, Noble Jew Ali, stated that the Negro problem is being solved only as it can, and that is by the Moorish divine and national movement. If you have a nation, you must have a free national name in order to be recognized by this nation as an American citizen. After lawfully connecting with the private international law of the Pan American Conference in 1928, the temple's name was changed to the Moorish Science Temple of America. The temple was then incorporated as a religious organization under the Illinois Revised Statutes in Cook County, giving the temple and its members national and international power. During the same period of time, unfaithful members of the Moorish Science Temple of America in Chicago and Detroit conspired to destroy the positive existence of the movement, causing great confusion. This is the reason for the misunderstanding of the national side of the movement amongst all Moorish Americans until this very day. Our prophet, Noble Jew Ali, stated that Chicago is doomed and Detroit must go down for what they did to I, your prophet. Afterwards, in 1929, our prophet, Noble Jew Ali, made his transition to the plane of souls. Our purpose of establishing this meeting on Sundays is to properly educate people on what the Negro problem really is and to educate people concerning the national side of the movement of our prophet, Noble Jew Ali, so that you may receive a clear understanding of it. Our prophet, Noble Jew Ali, also stated, "Come all ye Asiatics of America and hear the truth about your nationality and birthrights, because you are not negroes." In other words, all calling themselves negroes, black people, colored folks, Afro-American, Latino, Puerto Rican, Hispanic, or any other such names that delude to slavery, you are not these. Your nationality has been taken away from you, and your birthright has been stolen from you by way of your original birth certificate, Social Security card, and your state ID/driver's license, which is why clear color copies, both front and back, from these is required from you when applying for Moorish American citizenship, as you transform from your lower self to your higher self while working towards your actual freedom and becoming free national Moorish American citizens. You have ignorantly contracted into the jurisdiction of the federal U.S. government corporation. Thus, your nationality is United States. You have surrendered your free national state citizenship by registering yourself voluntarily as a beneficiary of the U.S. government corporation by way of your birth certificate, which is an unrevealed trust account instrument placing you in commerce with the federal U.S. Federal U.S. citizens are not citizens at all. They are subjects and property of the District of Columbia, residents and franchisees of the so-called bankrupt U.S. government corporation under municipal law. The Constitution for the United States of America, the Bill of Rights, and the 13th Amendment with 20 sections does not apply to federal U.S. citizens. Federal U.S. citizens are subject and property under statutory, admiralty, and maritime law, as well as martial law under the undisclosed presumption of an international contract. Federal U.S. citizens have no constitutional protections or unalienable rights. They only have granted privileges by the U.S. government corporation. Legal persons born or naturalized in the federal U.S. were made exclusively by the 14th Amendment after the Civil War. The 14th Amendment was never lawfully ratified and, therefore, unconstitutional. Our prophet, Noble Jew Ali, held up the red flag with the five-pointed green star in the center in his right hand. This is our national flag. It is poorly misunderstood as the flag of Morocco. It is properly comprehended as the Moorish flag. He also held up the 48-star flag of the U.S.A, U.S.A, in his left hand. This is our flag of peace, friendship, and commerce within the states of the Union under the Republican form of government in this country. The 50-star flag of the U.S. with gold fringes around it does not represent free national Moorish American citizens. Social Security benefits and income tax are voluntary contracts made mandatory for federal government employees and U.S. citizens who receive benefits from the federal government corporation. Asiatics are the aboriginal, indigenous inhabitants of America. However, due to the fact that the Asiatics' birthrights have been stolen and we have fallen from the constitutional laws of the government, being placed in a chattel property status because of the reorganization of the U.S. with the New Deal in 1933. The Asiatics are now aliens, not to this country, but to all free national governments. We encourage everyone to become a naturalized Moor and register with the Moorish National Bureau Vital Statistics, or Vital Statistics, in order to become part and parcel of this free national government. In this way, you are under the divine authority of our honorable prophet, Noble Jew Ali, being under the jurisdiction of the Emancipation Proclamation of President Abraham Lincoln, inclusive of the 13th Amendment with its 20 sections, and not under federal jurisdiction, making your identity and your nationality Moorish American. The bankruptcy of the United States is a fraud. The Uniform Commercial Code administers this fraudulent bankruptcy. For those who undergo the UCC-1 financing statement and its further paperwork applications become a party to this fraud and disconnect themselves from the divine authority of our honorable prophet, Noble Jew Ali, which is the conspiracy of the international banking cartel against us, Moorish Americans. Also, having a seat in the United Nations is a trap. This places you under the control of the cartels of Europe as well. Furthermore, a government that is a democracy is a trick because this type of government is not of the common people, for the common people, nor by the common people. Educating the masses on these issues in order for the Asiatics to become functionally active is of the utmost importance for the progress and growth of the Moorish Divine and National Movement. For more information, visit our website, www.moorishamericannationalrepublic.com. Again, that's moorishamericannationalrepublic.com. During this meeting, we would like our guests to remain muted if you are not speaking. This will prevent background noise coming from you as these calls are being recorded. When you want to speak, press the star key twice to unmute your phone. Please state your name and where you are calling from. You may submit your questions to our email, townhall, that's TOWNHALL, at moorishamericannationalrepublic.com. So your questions will be answered in the order in which they are received, as the email questions supersede direct questions from the audience. We would like our guests to continue to attend these meetings, and please invite your family members, associates, and friends to attend these meetings. Islam Moore, that's going to conclude our first administrative announcement. If we have any questions in reference to the administrative announcement, we please ask that you send your questions again to town hall at Moorish American National Republic.com. It's fine. Moving right along, family, we're going to go into our next administrative announcement, and it's coming by way of members from our adult Sunday schools. And again, this is in reference to our National Sunday School Call, which takes place every Sunday at 12 noon p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And our good brother Justin Levy L will be giving our announcement for us tonight. Islam, my good brother. Start to unmute your line, good brother Levy L, and you have the floor, family.
Islam,
my good brother. We got you loud and clear. Vibrations are strong. You have the floor. Appreciate you.
Islam. Thank you much, Sheikh. Islam family. I am Brother Justin Levy Ill, also pronounced Levi Ill, out of the Louisiana Republic. I represent our National Sunday School, the Divine and National Movement of North America, Inc., number 13, the Moorish American National Republic. Expects the presence of all members and invites the public to join us every Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time for our Moorish Sunday School class conference call. Please join us by calling 443-961-4434. All Moors currently naturalized through the Moorish American National Republic and who have not already done so are requested to forward an email to sundayschool@moorishamericannationalrepublic.com to confirm registration and receive your info packet. Please include the names of all children, their ages, birthdays, and school grade. Again, the Moorish American National Republic Sunday School conference call is at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, and we invite the public to join us. The number is 443-961-4434. We had a divinely full and inspiring class today, and you can share it in today's class by visiting our website at www.moorishamericannationalrepublic.com and click on Sunday School Recordings under the Resource tab. We look forward to exercising our 5 senses together, manifesting guidance for our nation. Thank you, peace, and love. Islam.
Islam, my good brother. Appreciate you, brother Levy L. Real quick, did you want to come back on and give your honors real quick, family?
Pardon yourself.
Yeah, you got it.
First and foremost, pardon yourself. I want to give honors. I want to rise to my highest heights and give praise to Allah. I want to give honors to our true and divine prophets, naming and recognizing Jesus, Muhammed, Buddha, and Confucius. I would also like to give high honors to our Grand Sheikh, head of our government, Joe Bratton Bay. I want to give honors to all sheikhs, deputy sheikesses, and sheikesses, all the members, all the students, all the visitors, and everybody on the call. Also, our illustrious Hebrew prophet, Noble Drew Ali, in his first, second, and third form. I give high honors to the prophet and everybody on the call. Islam, I yield the floor, my brother. Pardon yourself.
Islam, all is well, good brother. All is truly well. Appreciate you, family. Islam. Our next administrative announcement will be coming by way of our Moorish School in Law and History, and it'll be given by our secretary of our Moorish School in Law and History, our good sister Carla Green L. Islam, my good sister. Start to unmute, and you have the floor.
Islam. Vibrations are loud, you're clear, and you have the floor, good sister.
Islam, and thank you much, Sheikh Day. Islam family, this is Sister Carla Green Ill from Massachusetts Commonwealth. I rise to my highest heights and give all perfect praise to the Mother, Father, God of the universe, Allah. I give honors to all ancestors, known and unknown, recognizing and naming all true and divine prophets, Jesus, Muhammed, Buddha, Confucius, and the last prophet in this new era of time, our illustrious Hebrew prophets, Noble Drew Allah in his first, second, and third form. Extending honors to our National Grand Sheik Joe Bratton Bey, all of our national and local officials, all sheiks, sheikesses, deputy sheikesses, all of our children, students, members, and guests, citizens, I greet you all with Islam. Please remain muted for this very important announcement. Peace and greetings. The Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America, Incorporated, number 13, the Moorish American National Republic, requires from everyone desiring to proclaim their Moorish American nationality to fill out and complete an application for Moorish American citizenship and 3-course registration forms for each of the Moorish law and history courses, which I'll explain later. Many people question, why do we have to fill out paperwork and submit copies of our personal documents? This is the reason. We must know who you are, your background, previous affiliations, work history, physical abilities, education, skills, training, etc. First of all, these documents do not belong to you. They belong to the federal government. So you must remember that in their jurisdiction, you are an artificial corporation under civil rights and granted privileges. Secondly, we require these documents because once you are a free national Moorish American citizen, your file will be in the Moorish National Bureau of Vital Statistics, which is set up for each natural person. These Moorish documents that you'll be receiving at the time of your naturalization are prepared from these documents. The most important page in the application is the self-audit page. This allows you to make sure you know the appropriate attire to wear during naturalization and are submitting the required documents, fees, and photos. The documents must be clear colored copies for clarity and authenticity. The photos must be passport size. We use the photos for your nationality and ID card. Please have your national and religious headdress on and write your name on the back of the photos. The application process is reviewed each week because applications are received in the National Register's office either with incomplete applications, no photos, or no documents. If a question on the application does not apply to you, place N/A not applicable. This lets us know that you did read the question but did not omit it. We must read and follow instructions and learn to ask questions if we do not comprehend what is being said. The second part of the process is enrolling into the Moorish School of Law and History by registering for the 3 courses with the following completed forms. 1, a warning from the Prophet class form. 2, be it known class form. 3, nationality and ID card class form. 4, course rules and agreement form. Visit our website, www.moorishamericannationalrepublic.com, and download the application and registration forms. These forms will have the full instructions, requirements, and prerequisites for the classes. Also, mail with your application an updated copy of your resume. You are not paying for your nationality. Your nationality is free of charge. You are paying for the cost of enrolling in the Moorish School of Law and History, just as one pays tuition when enrolling into a college or a university. The costs are also directed to the application processes of the preparation of your documents, as you receive these once you've completed the courses. It takes finances to raise a nation, and it takes finances to maintain and operate an educational forum. This concludes the administrative announcement. By way of the Moorish School of Law and History, I return the floor to the moderator. Islam and peace.
Islam, Islam, Islam. Appreciate you, our good sister, Carla Green Hill. I apologize for the secretary, administrative assistant for the title position. I apologize on that one, good sister. Islam. And appreciate you. Islam, Islam. All right, Mo, let's move right along. Our next administrative announcement will be given by our good brother, Michael Simpson here. Islam, my good brother. Star to unmute, and you have the floor.
Islam there, Sheik. Can you hear me?
Islam family, yes, we got you loud and clear. Vibrations are strong, and you have the floor, family. You're coming in clear. You are good. Islam.
Islamism. All is truly well with you and the family?
Indeed so, good brother. Indeed so. Trusting the same with you.
Yes, sir. All is truly well.
Islam. Much honor. You got it, family.
Islam, Sheik. Much honor and gratitude. Brother Michael Simpson Hill Jr., calling out of Wayne County, Michigan Republic. First, I'd like to rise to my highest heights, giving all perfect praise to the great God Allah, to all our ancestors, spoken and unspoken, naming and honoring our true and divine prophets, Jesus, Muhammed, Buddha, and Confucius, and our last prophet in these days and times, our illustrious Hebrew prophet, our great Redeemer, Noble Jew Ali, in his first, second, and third form. Also like to extend those honors to our headquarters in Baltimore, Maryland, Temple number 13, our National Grand Sheik, Joe Bratton Bay, to all our national officials, sheiks, sheikesses, deputy sheiks, and deputy sheikesses, and to all our family, friends, guests, citizens, members, and to our illustrious future, our children, I greet you all with Islam. This administrative announcement is coming by way of our Sergeant at Arms Administration. Warning. If any persons, groups, or companies claiming to represent the Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America, Incorporated, number 13, the Moorish American National Republic, in any way are offered to sell you such things as the application for Moorish American citizenship, naturalization paperwork, nationalization paperwork, trust documents with the Moorish American National Republic's logos, passports, diplomatic appointments, diplomatic papers, diplomatic motor vehicle license plates, driver's licenses, titles of nobility, doctorates or other educational titles, business banking licenses, tax shelters, tax identification cards, or the likeness of any of these, please contact the Moorish National Bureau of Investigation at area code 410-501-7301. I repeat, area code 410-501-7301. Immediately, violators will be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. The members and the grand body of the Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America, Incorporated, number 13, the Moorish American National Republic are not sovereign citizens, nor Moorish nationals. The Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America, Incorporated, number 13, the Moorish American National Republic is not, I repeat, is not a sovereign citizens movement. This administrative announcement comes by way of our Solicitor General, National Grand Sheik, Joe Bratton Bay. And that concludes the reading of this administrative announcement. Islam, that good brother Sheik Orton Bay, the floor is yours. Islam?
Islam, and appreciate you, our good brother, Michael Simpson Hill, for that administrative announcement and read. Thank you, family. Islam. Moving right along, our next administrative announcement will be given by our beloved sister, Deputy Sheikess, Alyssa Thomas Bay. Islam, my good sister, please press star to unmute, and the floor is yours. Islam.
Islam, can you hear me? Because I'm having a little phone difficulties. Can you hear me?
Okay, yes, we have you loud and clear. Your strong vibrations are strong, and you're definitely coming through clear, sis.
All right, giving thanks. Islam, this is Deputy Sheikess Alyssa Thomas Bay. First, I'd like to rise. I give all perfect praises to Allah, all of the divine prophets, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, and Confucius, our prophet in these days and time, Prophet Noble Jew Ali, our National Grand Sheik, Joe Bratton Bay, all of our national officials, all of our sheiks, sheikesses, deputy sheikesses, members, citizens, students, and guests. I greet you all with Islam. Notice to the public, let the buyer beware. Caveat emptor, Moors are men upright, independent, and fearless, who care for their loved ones and follow the Prophet to a destiny which is not uncertain nor unknown. They are fortified by the impregnable doctrine built upon love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. It is therefore folly at its greatest height for smelly culprits with their insidious plans to invade such realms. They try, but their own bad planning bring down wrath upon their heads, like the sword old Damocles had. Intrigue and scurrilous cunning find a difficult path to travel within the ranks of the Moors. This is so because the Moorish movement has been well planned by Prophet Noble Drali, whose latent powers are abundant, unknown, and may be called into action as a matter of defense at any moment. Prophet Noble Drali knows the people within his ranks who are interested. They are vanguard of the movement as the Moorish hordes increase here in America. All the Moors are active, not passive. A member's interest can only be in one direction, and having traveled over the road years before the prophet knows where every member is along the road. A few feet below is another road where schemers walk, where traitors grin, and culprits bask in the sun. They think they're on the same road with the true Moors, but the Moors are high above on the pinnacle, where they might view the destructionists as they fall for the last time, and their bones bleach in the sultry midday sun. Hungry scavengers flying high catch scent, devour, and leave crying out, caveat emptor, cast out the dead carcass. The Moors high above see these plotters, pervious, the worst that exists, hurl themselves downward by their own works as the hawks await. By Prophet Noble Drali. The Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America, Inc. Number 13, Moorish American National Republic, advises the public with the words of the warning written by Prophet Noble Drali. The caveat emptor article message is the same today in 2021 as when written in 1928. We have been contacted by various natural persons who have sent funds to individuals and organizations. Said funds paying for various documents. Said individuals and organizations have no affiliation with the Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America, Inc. Number 13, Moorish American National Republic. Be herein advised, the Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America, Inc. Number 13, Moorish American National Republic does not sell documents of any type. Again, we do not sell documents. Again, be here notified that said individual and organizations have no affiliation with our organization, the Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America, Inc. Number 13, Moorish American National Republic. Some of said organizations have mirrored names which read closely to ours. Therefore, pay close attention to whom it is you are sending your funds, as the Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America, Inc. Number 13, Moorish American National Republic carries no liability for funds sent to these individuals and organizations. There may be others, yet the three I'm about to list have repeatedly been cited by those natural persons as the parties to whom funds were sent under guise of sending said funds to our organization. RV Bay Publications, the Moorish National Republic, the federal government, the Moorish Divine and National Movement of the World, the Moorish Science Temple of America, and the Bureau of Moorish Affairs, Moorish State University. We will update this list as necessary. Trustee, the public is advised. Let the buyer beware. I would like to return the floor to the moderator, and I would like to say Islam and peace.
Islam, and thank you, a good sister, beloved sister, Deputy Sheikah, Alyssa Thomas Day. Appreciate you much for the reading of Caveat and Sword. Islam, it is so more, those words back in 1928 is still live and well today. Islam. Moving right along, our next administrative announcement will be given by our good sister, Norma Solomon Hill. Islam, my beloved sister, please press star to unmute, and you have the floor.
Islam, can I be heard?
Islam, yes, 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 indeed. So, my beloved sisters, loud and clear, vibrations are strong, you're clear, and you have the floor, family.
Islam, praise Allah. It's great to hear your vibrations as well, Sheikh. Islam. And Islam to the family. This is Sister Norma Solomon Hill, calling out of the Bronx County in the New York Republic. First and foremost, I rise to my highest heights. giving all perfect praise and highest honor to Allah, the Mother, Father, God of the universe. I give honor to all true and divine prophets, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Confucius, and to our illustrious Hebrew prophet in this new era of time, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, in his first, second, and third form. I remain standing, giving high honors to our National Grand Sheikh, Joe Bratton Bey, to all of our sheikesses, our sheiks, our deputy sheikesses, to our deputy sheiks, to all of our citizens, members, students, children, and any guests that may be on the call this evening. I greet all in and with Islam. The first administrative announcement is coming by way of our National Holy Night Conference Call. Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Islam, all Muslims, the public is invited to join our National Holy Night Conference Call Friday evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time. If you live in an area without a temple, or you are unable to attend your local Holy Night meeting, our National Holy Night Conference Call is here for you. We invite the public and all members to join our National Holy Night Conference Call at 443-961-4434 every Friday as we celebrate the closing of one creation and the opening of the next. Come give thanks to your creatress, creator, and exercise your five senses, celebrating and commemorating the divine unity of Holy Night. 443-961-4434 every Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The next administrative announcement that I have to give is coming by way of our sister auxiliary. Islam, the Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America, Inc., number 13, the Moorish American National Republic, is delighted to announce our upcoming conference call dedicated to the uplift of Moabitist members in this divine and national movement under the leadership of our National Grand Sheikh, Joe Bratton Bey, and the nobles of our grand body. Our conference call's purpose is to create a network system amongst our feminine energy, showcasing the array of talents we, the sisters in this body, have to offer. We are calling on every sister who has been naturalized to heed this call, partake in this uplifting act, and be an active spoke in the wheel of this Moorish Republic. Come and familiarize yourself with your sisters and reap the benefits of membership of this national body that is committed to bring about the positive change necessary to facilitate the uplifting of fallen humanity. We encourage our sisters to get involved and support this demonstration. The Moorish American National Republic Sisters Auxiliary is requesting the help and support of all our brothers and sisters to donate to our fundraising Life Pin and Tag Day celebrations. Show pride in your movement and support the Sisters Auxiliary as we assist in the uplifting of fallen humanity by donating $1 for a Life Pin, $3 for a tag, and $5 for a magnet. All three are designed to inspire, unite, and encourage dialogue about this great movement and our illustrious Hebrew prophet, Noble Drew Ali. This Moorish regalia can be viewed on our website, www.moorishamericannationalrepublic.com. Anyone wishing to order regalia or any sister interested in membership, please send an email to sisterauxiliary13@gmail.com. That's AUXILIARY13 Please make note of your request in the subject line, whether it is membership, life pins, tags, or magnets. Please give your contact information, including your email and your phone number. Our next sister auxiliary conference is this upcoming Thursday, May the 27th, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That concludes the administrative announcements by way of our National Holy Night Conference call and our Sisters Auxiliary. I'll turn the floor back over to you, Sheikh Orton Bey. Islam and peace.
Islam. And thank you, our good sister Norma Solomon Ill, for those administrative announcements. Definitely appreciate you, beloved. Islam, Morris. We are complete with our administrative announcements. I would like to open up the floor to any of our national officials for any additional administrative announcements. Islam, the floor is open. Please start to unmute.
Islam,
there, Sheikh, all is well?
all is well. Good to hear your vibrations. Sheikh,
Yes. Same here, beloved. Same here. Good to hear yours, and you have the floor, beloved.
I'm Sheikh Lawrence Youngray, National Treasurer and Divine Minister out of the North Carolina Republic. First, I rise giving all perfect praises to Allah, to our ancestors, and some we know of, some we don't, to our true and divine prophets, just to name a few: Jesus, Muhammed, Buddha, and Confucius, and the last prophet in these days and times, our Redeemer, our illustrious Hebrew prophet, Noble Drew Allah, in the first form, the second form, and the third form. I extend my honors to the forerunner, the Noble Drew Ali, Marcus Mosiah Garvey, and to our National Grand Sheikh, National Grand Sheikh Joe Bratton Bey, to our Grand Body, to Sheikhs, Sheikhesses, Deputy Sheikhs, Deputy Sheikhesses, brothers and sisters, and parents and students in our Sunday school, and everyone on the call. I greet you with love and peace, 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 which means Islam, Islam, Islam. This administrative announcement is to the members. When mailing your dues, please include your dues card with a photocopy of your dues card. In the upper right-hand corner of your dues card, you will see the letters DON and a blank line, which stands for date of naturalization. In the date you were naturalized, write the date you were naturalized. If DON is not written in the right-hand corner, write the date of the naturalization in the right-hand corner. Make 2 copies. Keep 1 copy home for your record. Include the month and year you are paying your dues. Also, if you change your address, please indicate so with a note when you mail your dues card. This is so we can update and mark the records correctly. This concludes my administrative announcement for the Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America Incorporated, number 13, Moorish American National Republic. I turn it back in the hands of Sheikh Isaiah Orton Bey. Thanks for the time, beloved.
Islam. I appreciate you. Again, Sheikh and National Treasure, Sheikh Young Bey. Definitely appreciate everything that you have done, still doing, and continues to do, my good brother. Definitely appreciate you. Stay strong, family.
Thanks, Mo.
Islam. All right. Any other administrative announcements? Coming by way of our national officials. Floor is still open. we don't have any other administrative announcements coming by way of our national officials, we will proceed to our questions for our forum tonight. Moors, Islam, Islam. And again, today's date for the record is May 23rd, 2021, according to the Gregorian calendar. And again, thank you all for being in attendance with us. Islam, Brother Mainstream, Great Bay, 44. How many lines do we have with us tonight?
Islam, Sheikh. We have 36 participants on the line. Islam.
36. Islam. We on the 9. 36. Appreciate you, family. All that is in attendance with us. Definitely could have been anywhere. However, your energy and your presence and vibration is here with us, and we definitely appreciate you. All right, Morris, we're going to go into our questions that we have on our floor tonight. Question number 1. Let's say the subject matter, we could say, what's the process? All right. How do I become a Moor? I hear a lot of different things. Go to the temple, file papers, etc. What exactly is the process of becoming a Moor? Islam, Moors. Question on the floor is in reference to the process of becoming a Moor. Islam.
Oh, yeah.
All right, who's yielding? All right.
That was Brother Levy Ill, Sheikh Islam.
Okay, I got you. I got Deputy Sheikh Roy Bay. Is that you on the line?
Yes, sir.
All right, my good brother, you have the floor. Got it going, good brother. Start us off.
All right. Thank you very much. First, I rise to my highest heights. I give praise to Allah, the great God of the universe, who is almighty, eternal, and incomprehensible. The universal governor of this world seen and worlds that are unseen. I give honors to John the Harbinger, also known to us as the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey, both harbinger and forerunner to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. I give honors to all true and divine prophets, namely Jesus, Muhammed, Buddha, and Confucius. All the Asiatic Muslims on the call tonight, those who had a heart to call tonight, but for whatever reason could not be. I extend those honors to our National Grand Sheikh, Brother Joe Bratton Bay, and I extend the highest honors to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali in the first, second, and third form, Islam. So the question is, how do I become a Moor? Well, for starting, this is not what you become. This is what you already are. And we are definitely that. Because the Prophet taught us. He said, what your ancient forefathers were, you are today without doubt or contradiction. And that there is no one who's able to change man from the decent nature of his forefathers, unless that person's power can extend beyond the great universal creator, Allah himself. So it's really a matter of coming into the knowledge. And you come into the knowledge our way of going to the temple to relearn a lot of the things that we have been taught. This is a mental institution, and the only slavery that we have left is mental slavery. So we have to accept the fact that a lot of what we've been taught has been falsely communicated to us under the auspices of wrongful status. Okay? And the process to become a Moor is really linked to the Hebrew code. It talks about compliance. But it's not that you're becoming that. You're coming back into the knowledge of certain things. And then your status is placed upon a record, as opposed to the current status of us clinging to the names and principles that delude to slavery. Negro, black, colored, Ethiopian, etc. So even in your darkness, And then even in the day, as we say in our Moorish prayer, in your ignorance and in your consciousness, even if you deny what your ancient forefathers were and try to reduce their status by calling them all black people, you'll never change the historical fact of who we really are. But we have to come to grips with this fundamental principle. And I know a lot of us struggle with this idea of Moorish. And a lot of us fight against it. Because to be Moorish today, by way of acceptance and proclamation, this is not the easy way to the top. This could be, in some aspects, a difficult way. But the prophet said this is for strong men and women. It's easier to be an African American and talk about the color of your life and how it matters or why it should matter. It's easy to come under the United States citizen as opposed to looking into the Hebrew code, the Hebrew law, and comply with certain fundamental and organic historical laws that will better suit us to be better citizens in the society we now reside. Some of the benefits of being Moorish and coming under the divine authority of Prophet Noble Drew Ali in the first, second, and third form is that you will go from being a U.S. citizen, and as we just stated, Sheikh Isaiah Warren Bay just read off in our administrative announcements, we're not sovereign citizens, we're state citizens under the organic constitution. So, a lot of benefits to being a Moor. And we wrestle every day because of so much psychological damage that has been done to us and is still being done to us. We wrestle with the concept of trying to look like other people who are foreign to our native jurisdiction because we are two different groups. Okay? But I find it to be ironic how everyone has rushed to become vaccinated, but we're still fighting Prophet Noble Drew Ali and the principles that he taught that is really for the upliftment of all humanity, starting with you. So, the Moorish Science Temple of America is a saving grace, and it represents the resurrection of a dead nation coming back to life, i.e. the family of nations. So I'm going to yield the floor with that. Let other Moors come on and exercise their five. I'm done, Brother Sheikh Isaiah Warren Bay. Peace.
Islam, and appreciate you, a good brother, beloved brother, Deputy Sheikh Warren Bay. Appreciate your measuring your share in reference to our question on the floor and the subject matter, Islam. All right, we had our good brother, Justin Levy L. Yield. Are you available, good brother?
Islam family, can I be heard?
Yes, we have you loud and clear, good brother, and you have the floor.
Islam, thank you much, Sheikh. Islam family, this is Brother Justin Levi L. out of Louisiana Republic. First, I want to rise to my highest heights and give all perfect praises to Allah, the Mother, Father, God of the universe. I want to extend honors to all true and divine prophets, naming and recognizing Jesus, Muhammed, Buddha, and Confucius, and our last prophet in this day and time, our illustrious Hebrew prophet, Noble Drew Ali, in his first, second, and third form. I want to remain standing and give honors, to all the officials at headquarters, our National Grand Sheikh, Joe Bratton Bay, for all the work that he does, all sheikesses, all sheiks, all deputy sheikesses and deputy sheiks, all the members on the call, our illustrious children, all the visitors, guests. I greet everybody in and with Islam. Can you repeat the question again, Sheikh Orton Bay, my brother? Islam?
Islam, good. Islam, yes, I got you, family. All right. How do I become a Moor? I hear a lot of different things. Go to the temple to proclaim.
filed papers, etc. What exactly is the process of becoming a Moor? Islam?
Islam. Thank you, my brother. Islam. From listening to the question, um, it sounds like me. The questioner sounds like how I sounded when I didn't know nothing about more science, or I didn't know anything about my nationality or birthright. That was a beautiful demonstration by our Deputy Sheik Roy Bay. Honors to that brother. I'm gonna try to come a different way from how he came with the demonstration. I'll put it like this: like the brother stated prior. I don't want to be redundant, but you can't become what you already are. You are Moorish by your bloodline, your birthright, and being that is your birthright. I think I should probably put the definition on the floor while we're talking about birthright. I have an unabridged dictionary. Birthright: any right, privilege, or possession to which a person is entitled by birth, such as an estate, descendable by law to an heir, or civil liberty under a free constitution, the rights or inheritance of the firstborn. Islam. That tells us right there what a birthright is. Us being Moorish and Muslims, Hebrew Muslims, that is our birthright. So that's not anything that we can become. We just have to accept who we are and proclaim that. And, we have to proclaim our nationality as Moorish Americans. That's what the process is. And, according, like the brother said, according to the Hebrew law, we have to come back into the family of nations. And, we have to be recognized, identified, and classified as such, like all other nations of the world. And that's basically the process. We have to be naturalized. We have to naturalize, pardon yourself, and we have to have land that we can colonize. We have to be compensated for our ancestors' time in servitude. We was never slaves. We were just prisoners of war. I just think we have to understand that part. Like I hear a lot of people say all the time, like, "Oh, you converted to Islam, or you converted to this, or you can." Well, we converted to Christianity. We can't convert to Islam because we're Muslims by birth, right? That's our birthright. So by understanding what that means, we'll get a better understanding. And understanding is the treasures of Allah. I'm a living example of that, and I'm still getting my understanding as I go. I just wanted to exercise my five senses on the question sheet. That's all I have. I'll yield the floor. Peace and love to everybody. Islam.
Islam. And thanks you, our good brother, Justin Levy L, calling out of Louisiana Republic. Giving thanks to you and your share, good brother.
Islam.
Islam.
Islam, I yield.
All right. I think it might have just been you, good brother. We'll see.
No, it's me. Islam.
Oh, okay.
Islam.
Islam, Deputy Sheikis. That's Deputy Sheikis, Alyssa Thomas Day?
Yes, it is.
Okay, you have the floor, and I'll bring you on, good brother, after our beloved sister demonstrates. Islam.
Islam,
right,
giving thanks. Islam, giving thanks, Sheik, and also giving thanks to you, brother, for yielding the floor. This is Deputy Sheikis Alyssa Thomas Bay. We rise into my highest heights. Giving all perfect praises to Allah, all of our ancestors, our national grand sheik, all of our national officials, and all of our beautiful brothers and sisters on the call this Sunday's creation. Excellent demonstration that was put on the floor by Deputy Sheik Roy Bay, as well as our good brother Justin Levi L. And I'm just going to touch on it. I'm going to go a little different angle as well. So the first thing is we have to look at it from another perspective. The thing that's happening with a lot of our brothers and sisters is that when they think of the word Moor or the title Moor, they're thinking of it as it's like just a separate group of people that just fell out of nowhere and it was just created. And they feel like, oh, I've never heard of this. I can't make a connection to it. And it's the way they look at it that's the problem. We have to understand that Moor is just the last noble powerful title that we went by historically. It's the last one that's on record. But before that, in our beautiful Circle 7 Quran, chapter 47, they name a few of the names. We went by Canaanites, Moabites, Hittites. If you go back and you read chapter 47. So we are still those same people, Moors, that the Circle 7 is speaking on. The names that we see and we identify every day in the Bible. So it doesn't matter what religion you state that you claim or what your belief system is. If you're a melanated person, you are a Moorish American. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. The thing is, we're dealing with too much separation to make the connection. So as the brother stated before, a lot of times we're born and we're unconscious. There's so many unconscious Moors. And then when you gain knowledge of who you are and who you were historically, you're able to connect the dots. And that's when you go into the process of proclaiming your nationality. So you're a Moor regardless of whether you proclaim your nationality or not. Now, anybody can proclaim their nationality if you look at the definition of proclaim. The key is how you proclaim your nationality. That's the key. What substantiates that you are who you say you are? What laws back that up? What government can solidify that? So that's why in our temple, we do it by the naturalization process, where we pretty much come back into the constitutional fold of government. Of course, we go through the process of having our documents and our records corrected, and we put the world on notice of who we are, letting them know we know who we are. We have our natural status, our natural titles, and we're here to take everything that was meant for us, our God-given rights at birth. So I think it's very important that we don't deal with that separation of what a Moor is, be able to tie it back to the Canaanites, the Moabites, the Hittites. We are the same people historically. It's just this is the last title we went by. And we all are Moors, unconscious, conscious. And we have to proclaim our nationality so we can no longer be labeled as undesirable. So we do that through the naturalization process. So that's all I wanted to say. And with that, I say Islam. Peace.
Islam, full circle. I appreciate you, our good sister, beloved sister, Debbie Sheikis, Alyssa, Thomas Day, for that measure and share. Islam. All right, we had a brother that yielded. Are you still with us?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All praises to the Most High. My name is Andre Wimbush Bay, Detroit, Michigan. Definitely want to give praises to the Most High. May Allah be a sweet and holy divine name. Honors to the Prophet, Noble Drew Ali, Honorable Prophet. Honors to Richard Dingle Ill, our Grand Sheik, Joe Bratton Bay, all the Moors and honors that was previously given. Our prophet had brought us some divine information on certain things to get us back on track, because yes, we got off track, and yes, we know what we is, but through school we might have read it, but we didn't know what it was. Because I read it quite a few times, I didn't know what that was, but it was just there in the book. So okay, I never heard that word. Somebody told me go kill a Moor. I probably unconsciously when it did, not knowing that's me, not knowing, But that's why the prophet had put that in the Moorish literature. What shall we call him? Because Europeans trying to figure out, so the name don't really get put out there. So they said, look, we got to come up with a name for him, put a mark on him, a byword, as they say according to the Bible. So I read, what shall we call him, out of the Moorish literature, just part of it. So often our vision journalizers find trouble in selecting the proper name for the Moorish America. Some say Negro, other will brand him race man, still other will call him Afro American, and then come color. Dark American, coon, shine, the brethren, and your folks. See, at that time, they trying to still put a mark on us so they know who we were. See, man can trace himself if he know, I'm a Moor. Okay, you can trace yourself back to Spain. You can trace yourself back here. So that's what they got us so tricked and so trickology. You know, I was telling my Somali friend that. I said, man, when you get rid of your flag, you got the 5-point star right there. We got the 5-point star. But that's how they separate us, through the flags too. And he caught on to that too. He was like, yeah, you're right. You know, he took official to that, grabbed a hold of it, was like, yeah, you're right. So I'm a Moor. And when he knew that, he was like on fire. He like couldn't stop him. But also I like to read in the Holy Koran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, chapter 48, down at number 8, while we, the Moorish Americans, are returning to Islam, which was founded by our forefathers for our earthly and divine salvation, the covenant of the great God Allah, honor thy mother, thy father, that days may be long upon the earthland, which the Lord God Allah have given thee. And it explains for the ones who don't know, like me, I didn't know, but I give honors to the temples I went to. Praise Allah that they still open. You know, I came up in the sea curtain they body, so praise Allah, they still open. They still doing the work. They're keeping the doors open. But they have to be mindful that once they're keeping the doors open, listen, brother, okay, you learned this part. Now you need to go over here and get nationalized. Where I go get that? You got to go over here to this national side of the temple to get nationalized. They're going to take care of the paperwork, put your paperwork in, and then you be suited up and booted once you get that done. And number 10 say, come all ye Asiatics of America and hear the truth about your nationality and birthright, because you are not negroes. Learn of your forefathers' ancient and divine creed, that you will learn to love and steady hate. We are trying to uplift fallen humanity. Come link yourself with the families of nations. We honor all true and divine prophets. So we know we honor. So you get to talking to the Chinese, Japanese, and different nationalities, and we let them know we honor those. Oh, they taking heed. Ain't no Asian hate. You our brother. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing different, but you know what I'm saying? Rome is trying to twist things around. Not speaking radical, but they trying to twist things around. We got love, you know. Once every nation come in, the prophet said it. There's only one. It's through this Moorish nation, you know. And if we get into the laws, Act 6, with us, all members must proclaim, as the brother said, their nationality, and we are teaching our people our nationality and divine creed, that they may know that they are not, but I know that they are part and parcel of this here government, and know that they are not Negroes, color folks, or black peoples, or Ethiopian, because these names was given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779. So that'll get you back on point. And once you come in, the Moorish Science, you know, okay, yes, I'm a Moor. You know, you prophet brought you something you can shout about, so you're real happy. But it just don't stop. Yeah, you have to go get nationalized. See, that's something what I'm doing right now. I'm coming to be nationalized, put it on record, put it on paper. You know what I'm saying? So people say, oh, the master went that way. His footstep was clearly cut. See, he went that way. You know what I'm saying? But then I know I'm right. You know what I'm saying? And I know truly that my paperwork right, everything right, my lives pleased, I'm pleased, my family pleased, those of the world is pleased to say, yes, that's a real Moorish American right there. So, yes, you are Moor. You was born a Moor. You always will be a Moor. How you get on your birth certificate, you got to come to be nationalized. If that's what you're talking about, that's right there. You come in, they put that paperwork, who you is, to be nationalized, boom. It's on your paper, it's on your birth certificate, or however you want it to be, your ID, boom. You ain't going to have that black on your ID. You have, you know, what you want. Peace and love, love and peace. Thank you.
Islam. And thank you, good brother, Andre, One Bush Bay. Appreciate you, good brother, for
slight correction for the record. It's naturalization. We're dealing with naturalization. So beautiful, beautiful commentary, good brother. Definitely heartfelt. Islam, Islam. All right, Moors. If we have any questions, comments, concerns as to what was stated, the floor is open. If not, we can take one more demonstration before we proceed to our next question. Islam, Deputy Chief, good to hear your vibrations, my beloved brother. You have the floor.
Islam, beloved. Pray that all is well.
All is truly well. All is truly well. I'm in the cipher of love with you all. Indeed,
Yes, I. Our praises due to Allah. I am Deputy Chief Michelle Bailey from the New York Republic. Rising to my highest sense, giving perfect praises to Allah. Motherfucker, God of the universe and churches of all the worlds. Also, honoring all true and divine prophets, seen, unseen, known, unknown, and reincarnated, and to our illustrious Hebrew prophets in these days and time, prophet noble to our life. Redeemer, Wana, sending those honors to our National Grand Chief General Baton Bay, and to our officials in Baltimore and other republics, extending those honors to visitors, guests on the call. Shout out to Martha Messiah, God, the forerunner, and unto the ancient spirit of God through these turbulent times. Islam was exercising my senses. How do I become a more? What exactly is the process? All right, I'm taking it like this. How do I become a Moor? Well, as was stated, we were born Moors, made Moors by Allah, but because of the deceptive teachings we got and accepted in the past, we were classified as Negro, Black, Colored, and all of those fictitious titles. So I would go at the question like this. To be a Moor, because of our behavior and practicing as being this Negro, it's gonna take some time to truly become that Moor that we are. Right now, we're only Moors in name only. The behavior, character, have to change to what the Moor truly is to become that Moor. Just want to read a thing here from what our history book failed to tell us by Azim Hapsint Bey. And it goes like this. This tragedy of the plan or conspiracy of the Europeans, which they use, is as follows. If the Moors were ever emancipated or set free in the future, the Moors would remain subjected or dominated by the European race, whom had the sole authority in the classifying system via race, and race was incorrectly being distinguished as colors such as black race and white race. The Moors would unknowingly forfeit their rights to true citizenship. The slave classifying system was designed just for that purpose. Through this method, the Moors would not have any rights under laws governing free national beings. The Moors, known illegally as black people, would rob themselves of the precious rights of citizenship by accepting and identifying with the slave marks of Negro, Black, colored people. None of those names pertain to a true nation of people. The chairman of the convention, George Washington, summarized the raging debate on how to perpetrate slavery of the Moors with this statement. If we would agree to take the feathers and the turbans off the Moors' heads and remove the sandals from off their feet and enforce it with severe punishments, and to also swear a death oath between ourselves to religiously and faithfully not allow anyone to teach the Moorish children whom they really were or who their forefathers were, and only allow the Moorish children we thought that they were truly Negroes, black people, colored folks. George Washington stated that 200 years from today, the Moorish people would not know their nationality nor their national name of their forefathers. Also, would not know from which land or ancestors that they were descended from. The meeting adjourned with the consensus that they would seek to meet October 14, 1704 at Philadelphia State House, which later became known as Independence Hall. So, what we need to do to become that true Moor is to divulge, study the lessons that our Prophet left with us and make that a part of our being. Islam, return the floor to the moderator. Sheikh.
Islamism. Appreciate you, Deputy Sheikh, Macabre Bay, for your sharing your measure. Definitely on point. Full circle. Appreciate you, beloved. Islam. Trusting everyone is satisfied with the answers that were shared in reference to our subject matter. And just to tie in and add on to what was shared, how do we become a Moor? Well, first and foremost, we have to take that initial step, like our good brother Michael Jackson. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change himself. So first and foremost, we have to have that ideal light, that flame, like something is wrong. I'm wrong. This is not right. I'm not black. We have to come to that fierce understanding to say, this is not me. And once we do that, Moors, you have to understand how the doors open. See, this is what we've been disconnected from, how the universe operates and works. All right? Prime example with me, I was 24 years old, working as a child care counselor. I was staying in Macon, Georgia, no children, got this, making some nice, good money, gated community. I was staying out there with them. I thought I was doing something. But one morning I woke up and I looked in the morning and I said, who are you? I'm looking in the mirror. Who are you? You're 24 years old. Who are you? So that initial flame is what's going to open up that door. And as the universe hears, the Creator hears, your ancestor hears that cry, you're going to be pointed to the right direction. Now, there's only one man that came to put us on point and to blow that holy breath of truth. You heard of Othello, the more you read Shakespeare, but you didn't have no connection. You just seen this dark character with red eyes, but no significance of the divinity of Othello, the Moor. So again, here it is, Prophet Noble Jew Ali coming on the scene to do what? Redeem us from our sinful ways. What are some of these sinful ways? As our good brother demonstrated in reference to behavior. Look how we're acting. Because we've been adopted this man's ideology and within his society, the constraints within it makes us put our backs against the wall, and now we're acting out of our natural self. All right, so it's the lessons. How do we become a Moor? We go into the lessons of Prophet Noble Jew Ali. He gives us a blueprint for us to, now we can go to the corners of the world and see our culture, see how your ancestors ate, see how they dressed. What practices did they do? We honor all true and divine prophets, right? Jesus, Muhammed, Buddha, Confucius. You want to get into meditation. You want to get into deep breathing, yoga. This is how you become the Moor. You study the lessons and then you make it applicable. How do we make it applicable? We have to practice. Doctors just don't become a doctor. We practice. So we have to practice these lessons, these principles. This is how we become a Moor. And everyone already shared the information in reference to the process, all right? So again, the process has already been demonstrated, but I just wanted to go that way as to how to become a Moor. You have to learn how to be yourself and no one else. Stop changing up your clothes. Stop buying Nikes. Don't buy Polo. Buy some culture. Get into yourself. Only how you're going to learn how to become a Moor is by continuing to study yourself. And Prophet Noble Jew Ali gave us a perfect blueprint to design and start to work to perfect man, because we already at the lowest state. But these lessons is going to help us elevate ourselves to our higher self, all right, and become that upright, independent, and fearless Moorish American Islam. All right, Moors, moving right along to our next question on the floor. When you proclaim your nationality, do you become a criminal, or are you looked upon by society as a troublemaker? Islam. Two-part question. I can kind of understand that. Just for those that may not be aware, you do see on the news where they broadcast brothers and sisters that may not be proper, but they're getting caught up on some type of squatting charge. They're being evicted from the house. They're squatting and things of this nature. So that image is out there. So I believe the question is in reference to that. So again, when you proclaim your nationality, do you become a criminal, or are you looked upon by society as a troublemaker? Islam, Morris, the floor is open. Islam, good brother Deputy Sheik, you got it.
Thank you, brother Sheik Isaiah Warrenbeck. Thank you. Re-rising to my highest heights, giving all honors where honors is due, and praise to Almighty God Allah. Short version. All right, Moors, you're not criminal, but you do, in one sense, become a troublemaker. See, the prophet said that the Negro problem was being solved only as it came, and that comes by way of this divine and national movement. However, it should be duly noted for the record, the trouble comes in because, especially for this particular grand body, you start dealing with all these paperwork, birth certificates. That's a big problem out there for some people who are really making big money off these birth certificates. See, this is one of the great significance of Grand Sheikh Richardson Dingle L. It's founder of the founder. To the corporate corrupt.
Islam, Deputy Sheik, not to interrupt, but you are fading out a little bit. I think you're saying corporate, and then it was.
Islam, can I be heard now, Mo?
Yep, we got you loud and clear. It sounded like you were saying corporate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just saying that the trouble is to the corporate corrupt individuals. Remember the letter to from Mandel House. Pretty soon, every American will be required to register their biological property in a national system. He's talking about those papers, those documents, and what they had intended to do, and they did do to some large extent. He said, but not one in a million will be able to figure this out, and if they did, we have plausible deniability. Well, there was one, and in fact, more than one who figured it out. The prophet figured it out, but praise Allah, his infinite wisdom, his divine wisdom, as he was divinely ordained, he was able to resurrect brothers consciously, and they knew what to do after he made his transition in 1929. So when Grand Sheikh Richardson Dingle hit the scene, being commissioned by Grand Sheikh John Gibbons-Ill, the work was done. So there was that reversal process, producing the Moorish National Bureau of Vital Statistics. So that's where the trouble may potentially be coming from if there's going to be any trouble. It is us coming back into our own family of nations, taking our role of responsibility. For criminal, no, there are some Moors who are a little aggressive and forthright in their gift of understanding, and they think, they're doing the best they can do, because some Moors really, in truth, they still have an axe to grind with Rome. And they may indulge in certain activities that might not be totally consistent with Moorish character. And they may get themselves jammed up in the jelly and find themselves in front of somebody's magistrate in that de facto tribunal and have to explain certain things. But I won't classify Moors as being criminal when we have been criminalized and molested, etc., etc., whether it was lawfully correct or morally incorrect. I will never call us criminals. I'll say that we're trying to pursue a certain course of action. Sometimes that course of action is misguided and without guidance. So we end up looking like we're criminals when you see us on YouTube dealing with the police, aka policy enforcement. And so, no, we're not criminals. Are we causing trouble? Only for those who had demonic plans that was opposed to the fundamental organic laws that govern this nation. We may be some trouble for them because we're coming back into our own, doing things the way things are supposed to be done, and it may be upsetting to their plan because now it is more than just one of us who is figuring it out. It's hundreds of us, thousands of us, tens of thousands of us. The numbers may be so great out there that you can't even count them. So that's the only trouble, is that we're shaking leaves off the tree of Rome. Rome don't like that when you come this way. Rome don't like when you gain knowledge. So with that, I do want to yield the floor. Sheikh Isaiah Orenbang, Islam and peace.
Islam, my good brother, Deputy Sheikh Roy Beck. Full circle again. Appreciate that measure. And you share, good brother, in reference to our subject matter and question on the floor. Islam, my beloved sister. You got
Islam,
it. That's Sister Norman Solomon. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Okay. Go ahead. You got it, Deputy Sheikh.
Giving thanks. Islam, this is Deputy Sheikah Celeste Thomas, baby, rising to my highest heights. I'm going to make it really quick because our good brother, Deputy Sheikh Roy Bay, did an excellent job with his demonstration. I was just going to say, as we always say, and the National Grand Sheikh says that men are judged by their work, their deeds, and their actions, and he reminds us of that all the time. So, when you proclaim your nationality, we're people. We're all people. We live in a humanistic experience, and our work, our deeds, and our actions speak for ourselves. It speaks volumes. So you can proclaim your nationality. It's what's in the mind, the heart, and the soul of the person that proclaim their nationality. There's different reasons why people proclaim their nationality. They get naturalized or they learn about Moorish science. Some people do it because they're making a connection back to their ancient forefathers. They knew something was missing, and they feel like they have the answers within learning more science and within the temple, and they want to do more. They want to further learn and help uplift fallen humanity. Some people join the temple and, they get into more science because they're running from something. They want to get out of a jam, or they looking far out, to each his own. There's many different reasons. We've seen people come and go. They've come in the temple, they got their paperwork, they left, and some people stay. People join for different reasons. So depending on why the person joined and what they choose to do once they proclaim their nationality, that's how they're going to be seen by the world. Doesn't really have anything to do with them proclaiming their nationality. That's the mind and the heart and the mindset of that person that actually joined and what they do with the information. The prophet said, stop flashing your cards at Europeans. He also says, don't speak radical against the church. The prophet said these things because obviously, historically, this is something that happens. People proclaim their nationality, but they start to do things that are questionable, So all of these things are reminders to just tell us, like, listen, you got to know why you're proclaiming your nationality, and you got to just live right. You got to actually become what you say you are and not just do it because you're trying to get away from something. And as far as the criminal aspect, there's different reasons people are labeled criminals. Some people are labeled criminals because they actually do things that are questionable. And then there's some people that are so upright and they're doing the right thing, and people might just label them radical or a criminal because it goes against their belief system or their doctrine. A perfect example is our National Grand Sheikh. Years ago, if you guys saw the video, he did a little piece on, not paying taxes and not having to pay taxes. We all know that that's not a lawful process. And him explaining this is actually just trying to make us understand, it's not lawful. The IRS was made up, and this is what we can do. There were other people in temples that try to come behind that and make that seem like that was criminal activity or it was unlawful when it was not. So people might be labeled certain things, and it's because they have enough power or information to wake up the masses. So they'll try to label them or discredit them so people won't look further into the information that they're bringing for their salvation. So we have to be very careful when people label people criminals or say that they're saying things that are unjust or wrong. If it goes against their belief systems and it's so powerful that it can set you free and your family free, and if everybody jumped on it, we all be free, they're going to have to label you a criminal. They're going to have to do certain things to kind of deter you from that. So there's so many different ways people are labeled. We just have to research and find out if that person is actually a criminal or not, because sometimes it might not be that. It's just that information is so powerful that they don't want you to know it. So with that, I'd like to just say Islam and peace.
Islam. Appreciate you, our beloved sister, Deputy Sheikah, Alyssa Thomas Bay. Beautiful, full circle. Beautiful measure. Thank you, good sister. Islam. All right, Moors, as that time has come upon us. And again, our last question on the floor was, when you proclaim your nationality, do you become a criminal, or are you looked upon by society as a troublemaker? And again, it is said that we live in this stereotypical world. But the sad thing is, we're blessed by the best, and as our prophet teaches us, don't study man, study the law. All right? Study that length, that angle, and that width. Look at it from all perspectives, okay? Because our prophet gives us a divine constitution and bylaws. Act 4. All members must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all members must obey the laws of the government. Because by being a Moorish American, you are a part and parcel of the government and must live the life accordingly. Act 5. This organization of the Moorish Science Temple of America is not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. So here it is, our prophet, just within these 2 acts in our divine constitution and bylaws. I'll say that again. Our divine constitution and bylaws, these 2 acts is showing what? Obedience to government, tolerance to government. So when you proclaim your nationality, do you become a criminal? No. You're supposed to be upright. You're supposed to preserve these holy and divine laws. It must be proclaimed and practiced, like in Act 3. So again, it's coming upon us to change this stereotype. And again, like our sister shared, many people come this way for different things. Many of them I'm Moorish American, but again, have not done the inner work to have that peace within. So many of us is just doing things on that physical surface level. Like our sister said, we might be in the jam. We just came across this information. Oh, I'm a Moorish. Nah, we got some things to work out. We got some tools of a workshop for that mind. We need to start to cut off stuff that don't need to be there. We need that axe to chisel away. We need that hammer to drive in the nail of truth. Because at the end of the day, Moors, it's not the Europeans. It's us. We have to correct ourselves. Is it a criminal to be a Moor? No. Let's go back to Abraham Lincoln. Before he was a president, and he
had a case where his descendant was a Moor, and he stated that it is a crime to be a Negro, but my client, he's not that. He's a Moor. So our question should be reversed. When you proclaim your nationality, you become a criminal. No. When you proclaim your nationality, you coming out of that criminal state of mind. You've been redeemed from that mental slavery that got you acting the way you acting. Our prophet brought us divine and holy instructions. Don't study man. You will be led astray. Study the prophet, because it was his holy breath. He was divinely prepared to bring us those everlasting gospels of Allah, for us to now have this truth, to speak it and be that truth and live the life accordingly. And with that, Moors, I'm going to put a period behind my statement, wrapping it up, bring it to the floor. Our National Grand Sheikh of the Moorish Science Temple, the divine and national movement of North America, Incorporated, number 13, the Moorish American National Republic. It's none other than my brother, your brother, our brother, National Grand Sheikh, Joe Bratton Bey. Islam, Islam, Islam. Islam National Grand Sheikh, please press star to unmute, and you have the floor, beloved.
Islam, Islam, Islam. Thank you, Mo. Thank all the noble brothers and sisters for their demonstration this evening. Trusting all is well with all of you and your family, and you're safe. Praise Allah for all of that and all of you being here this evening to bring clarity on certain questions that we all need to realize that we may face from time to time, but it's always good to have an answer for the question, and we represent that answer for the question, because we are that, the question and the answer, Islam. Well, most thank you again, and I really enjoy hearing the sisters' vibration, because they bring the balance to everything. So without further ado, as always, I want to rise to my highest height and giving all my love, y'all, yes indeed, to our God Allah, who I truly love so dearly, and giving honor to all of our ancestors. There's so much a part of us, in us, and around us. They're there for us, and giving honor to all of the divine prophets, namely Jesus, Muhammed, Buddha, and Confucius, and our most illustrious Hebrew prophet is none other than the Honorable Prophet Noble Drew Ali, who's truly our Savior as well as our Redeemer, and giving honor to all of the Moorish staff and officials who I truly greatly appreciate, because no general is as good as his troops, and giving honor to all of our members and all you noble brothers and sisters who's on this call with us this particular day. My honor is to you, and my pleasure is being a part of you. Islam, Islam, Islam. Thank you so much. Islam, Nemo.
Islam National Grand, would you like me to start from the ladder?
Yeah, okay.
All right. And before I get started with the question, National Grand, I know it's a little early, but however, on behalf of the Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement North America Incorporated, number 13, the Moorish American National Republic, us, your body, the members, our citizens, we definitely want to give you a warm love, early birthday wishes. Our National Grand Sheikh birthright date, Moors, is this Wednesday, May 26, 2021. So we definitely want to give you love, support, and gratitude, National Grand, for your birthright coming up this Wednesday. Islam?
Islam. Well, thank you for that acknowledgement, and trusting that, it's just another day to me, but nevertheless, it's an earth day, and praise Allah for keeping me here as long as He has for me to do His works, and trusting that I have more to do to make things better for all of us. Thank you again, Mo. Thank you much.
Indeed. We love you much, National Grand. Islam. All right, our question on the floor. When you proclaim your nationality, do you become a criminal, or are you looked upon by society as a troublemaker? Islam?
It's, okay, I had to smile a little bit about that one. Well, let's see. Well, dealing with that question, when you proclaim your nationality, you become a criminal. Well, this is a criminal society, period. Why? Because look at the laws that's being utilized on all of us. It's criminal. But see, the thing is, when it comes to us, being that the question is what it is, by proclaiming your nationality, do you become a criminal? But once you proclaim your nationality, you should be recognized as a human being and not be looked at as a criminal. But under blacks, African Americans, etc., when they see us, they automatically put the stigmatize on us and look at us as some type of criminal, someone that you can't trust, a thief, etc. And that's because of we not being recognized as a people totally. So once you proclaim your nationality, that criminal aspect should dissipate. But nevertheless, you have all kind of folks in any organization that's going to be in the low. And that's why our prophet teaches us to stay high, because you're dealing with your high and your lower self. And a lot of times we listen to the second voice to do whatever it is that's going to become negative in your life, as opposed to staying high, being positive. So therefore, it depends on the individual themselves. Even with a lot of people who's come into the temple, they didn't come in on a proper page to really do right. A lot of them come in, as the sisters and the brother was demonstrating today, because they have issues and they're trying to escape certain things, and their mindset really has not changed. I call them negroes and feathers. So the thing is that you got to understand the individuals that themselves, but the movement itself, as proclaiming your nationality, you're making a change in society, and the change comes with you first. And once you make that change, wherever you go, employment, health, or any type of situation that you may put yourself in, when you're surrounded by folks and you identify yourself, then people are going to look at you differently, and they don't expect for you to, to have that criminal mentality. But yet, so many of us still do, and that's why you have a lot of us that's incarcerated. Some, once they go to jail, then they get in touch with the Moorish Science, and they try to the best of their ability, to become a better citizen while they're in jail or wherever they may be, dealing with the mindset that they have. So, but once they become conscious of it, then quite naturally they know that everything starts with themselves. Then nothing's going to change until you make the change. So any type of criminal activity pertaining to a Moor is dedicated or predicated on his mindset, she or he. But the matter in question is you proclaiming your nationality. See, the thing is how people look at us when they see us. And that's why a lot of times it's good to wear your turban and fez, in certain situations. And a lot of us wear it every day, which is great. But however the way things are, a lot of times you don't have that affordability to do it. But still, it's how you present yourself in society when they see you. So that's the key. However they see us is what you portray. So as a Moor, that negative vibration that you may have had prior to shouldn't be. Because that's why our prophet said, once you proclaim your nationality and become knowledgeable of the things that you should be doing under your true identity, then you must become a better citizen. That's why we're supposed to be law abiders and things of this nature. But everybody have the will to choose, so they're going to break off this or that, or whatever they feel is best for them. But nevertheless, the law is still there. See, we're dealing with the seen as well as the unseen. And by us not knowing who we are, that's the unseen. But yet, when we do proclaim and understand the significance of it, then that's when we become seen. Your actions, your words, works, and deeds precede you wherever you go. And that's what we have to understand, the significance of what it is on how we are looked upon in society. And and even dealing with the troublemakers. Now, I was smiling to myself when when the brothers and sisters were talking about this, especially about the troublemaker. Because see, now even before I became conscious of who I was very outspoken when I was under that Negro doctrine, if you will, and when I saw things that management was doing to me that was not just to me but to the employees, I always would have something to say about it. And by me always stepping forward to express myself, I was labeled as a troublemaker because I didn't want to accept what was falsehood when I knew the truth. So by that being the case, they tried to get rid of me because of that, because I was a threat. So now, I become conscious. Now I'm a moral. First thing I did was submit my paperwork to personnel so they could know who I am. But so far as being a troublemaker, that flipped. That turned around in a beautiful way for me because my actions or my words, works, and deeds solidify my position in employment and other places because my character changed. And then I became more knowledgeable. And therefore, once I spoke about certain things, I wasn't labeled as a troublemaker. I was labeled, well, they called me the great negotiator, really, seriously, because by me being so in tune to the employees and dealing with their concerns, they recommended me to become part of the union as being a representative. And I was so astute in certain things because I knew how to deal with management as well as the employees. And so they raised me in a position, they called me the chief relations specialist. So I had taken on that position, and basically because of my knowledge and how I would deal with people, because I'm a communicator. And when I went to certain meetings and things of this nature, now I'm not pouncing on my chest, but I'm just explaining certain things that happened to me in my life since I became aware of who I am and the laws thereof. So, I had become very knowledgeable of certain procedures in government and management, and they would call me the great negotiator because I knew how to deal with people. So I'm saying all that to show you that you have to make the turnaround, and basically it's how you deliver the message, because some people can be a little forceful and not being or showing humility, when they talk to folks, and that's a turnoff. And a lot of times when you come that particular way, people don't want to deal with you, and they talk behind your back or this or that, and that's because of how you deliver in yourself. But once you really know what you know, then you must be what you know. And as so many of us have experienced life pertaining to our Moorish involvement, if you will, you see how you're being more respected by being such. So therefore, that troublemaker has turned around. You're not labeled as that, but if anything, they're going to come to you asking for guidance and instructions on what you feel is best to do for a given situation. So it all depends. But once again, it depends on the individual. So once you understand your role in society, and especially under the teachings of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, you got to definitely demonstrate that and be a part of that so people can really look at you in a better light, and they will respect you a whole lot more when they see the changes that you have made within yourself. So I just wanted to, just bring that to the floor because there's no sense in being redundant on what everyone has spoken because it's all on point. But from my observation and what I know, becoming a member of the Moorish Science Temple of America was the greatest thing that ever happened in my life. And the Moorish Science Temple of America is the greatest organization for the salvation of our people. So you can see the significance of it. So where are you going to go to know anything about yourself and be taught properly? So it all depends on what you want to do for you. Because once you do it for you, then you can't help but spread it, because now you walking and living the truth. And what does the truth do? Set you free, make you free, keep you free when you know. So this is all about knowing now And it's time for us to know. That's why we're in this great movement, and that's why the movement is called the Moorish Divine and National Movement, because you're dealing with your spirituality as well as the lawful demonstrations dealing with the national laws. So you see how they work together. You can't do one without the other. And once you internalize what this is, oh my God, you can't help but feel good about yourself. And all those around you feel good too, because they see the change within you. Islam, Mo. I'll just leave that alone for now.
All right, Islam, National Grand Sheik. First question on the floor tonight.
You said what, Mo?
Hold on. I lost my email. Okay, I just pulled it back up. How do I become a Moor? I hear a lot of different things. Go to the temple to proclaim. File papers, etc. What exactly is the process of becoming a Moor? Islam?
Islam. Okay. Well, let's look at this too. As was stated, what is the process? Well, say again, you say, what is the process of becoming a Moor? Or how do?
Yes. How do I become a Moor? I hear a lot of different things. Go to the temple to proclaim. File papers, etc. What exactly is the process of becoming a Moor?
Okay, great. Great. Okay, I got you. All right. Well, let's break this down in part. How do I become a Moor? Well, as was stated, and I'm going to reiterate, we already are Moors by descent nature, just that we're not conscious of it, because only Allah can change the descent nature of anybody, but yet we don't know. So, by that being the case, there's a fact. See, that's the fact that your descent nature don't change, but like I said, you don't know. And see, and why this is, because we were never classified and identified in the system of government to establish that fact. So, see, they had us as a collective, but they had us also from the cradle to the grave, not knowing. So, we were told that we were negroes, colorful, black people, etc. But as we know, this is a paper government, and by that being the case, one's classification has to be corrected to clarify the misinformation. So to officially proclaim one's nationality, we must refer to Act 6 of the Divine Constitution and Bylaws. And for those of us who are not familiar with Act 6 of the Divine Constitution and Bylaws of Prophet Noble Drawley, Act 6 is the master degree when it says, with us all members must proclaim their nationality. With us. With us. So those that's outside of this, you're going to have a problem. So let me continue. With us all members must proclaim their nationality. We are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed. So where can you go and be taught your nationality and your divine creed that you must know that you are part and parcel of this said government, and know that you are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians? Why? Because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasting until 1865 during that time of slavery. See, we don't know none of this. None of us on this call was familiar with this. I'm talking about as a collective. Now, I know some of us have been born into the Moorish society and certain information was divulged, but on the whole, we don't know. We don't know. So, by that being the case, and when you understand this Act 6, and that's why the prophet made reference to the fact that during that particular time of slavery, but when he came into existence and he made us aware that this is a new era of time. Now it's a new era of time. Why? Because he's the prophet. Every 2,000 years one come. He has come. So he has declared a new era of time now. And by that being the case, he makes reference to the fact that all men must proclaim now, they must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live in the nations of the earth. So he didn't specify just us, he said all men. Because when you look at what's going on in society around the world, all the warring and deceit, despair, hunger, poverty, etc. Because somebody told a lie and they're trying to usurp someone's land and all these type things because a lie has been told. But let's just say if everybody did proclaim their nationality, will we have this confusion about land and who or what ethnicity this one is or that one? We wouldn't have that problem. Because the bottom line, when you come down to the source of who man is and their lineage, we all are one. Just different tribes. That's it. But we are special. We special because we the firstborn. Read the 4th chapter of Exodus, verse 22, to tell you where it says the Creator said, Israel, my son, even my firstborn. So he's letting you know exactly your position in life and how it pertains to the Creator. And so by that being the case, the main thing is recognition for us to understand about being that more. No doubt about it. So now, continue with Act 6. And so by that being the case with what I stated earlier, this is the reason why the Creator who loves us so much sent us our prophet. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali. He did. Ordained Noble Drew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people. That's us. He came to redeem us from our sinful ways. And this black, Negro, all that's a sin. That's violating the law because you have defiled your ancestors and truly you have defiled your God. Because our God did not bring on this planet Negroes, black folks, or whatever. That was a creation of man. So that's why the Moorish Americans are descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabit the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. So now he's given us our true family name. He's given us our descent nature and the habitation where we settle. So all of this is relevant. So when you deal with truly proclaiming, that's just a portion of it. It's a portion. Because you can go into any temple or there are a lot of various ways that you can proclaim your nationality. That don't necessarily mean it's going to be recognized. But however, dealing with this situation, dealing with us, when we come through the doorway of the prophet, everything is a process. He's a Hebrew prophet, no doubt about it. And if you look back in history, that now Creator always sent a prophet to his special people who were the Hebrews, Abraham, Moses, Jesus, Muhammad, etc. All of them were Hebrew Muslims. And so you can see this significance on what it is that we are so much a part of divinely. So all of this is relevant to our true identity. And by that being the case, so now once you proclaim yourself, you got to make changes in the system in order for the government to recognize you by filing certain papers to have them recorded to indicate your true identity within the various governmental agencies to be recognized. And moreover, one can proclaim their nationality, like I said, in various ways, but however, our prophet Noble Drew Ali adopted us all according to his divine authority and registered his authority as of August 1st, 252 p.m. 1928, according to her revised statutes 32-36, as a corporation religious affidavit organization under Form 1099 in the state of Illinois, county of Cook, which the government recognized our prophet as such, because he's the only one, when you look at what he did for us, to facilitate the process. Look at what he did coming through the Moorish Science Temple of America now. He brought us our nationality. That means you have a right at birth. He brought our nationality and birthright. He brought us our flag, our charter, the edicts and tenets of the organization for us to utilize and follow. And he did all this according to natural law, which is common law. So, to substantiate this process, when one proclaims, you must make changes in the system by recording your documentation, as I stated earlier, in the various governmental agents to be recognized, identified under the authority of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And when this process, when you do it, you have secured your status, and you must make a change. And that's why the Moorish National Bureau of Asiatics was established to facilitate a system of change. So let me share what's that about. Now, this is pertaining to Grand Sheikh Richardson Dingle, Deputy Sheikh Roy Bey, and others mentioned about the Moorish National Bureau of Asiatics. So I just want to share the importance of what this is and why the Bureau is so important pertaining to this particular question, especially when it makes reference to the fact that we have to file papers, etc. And what exactly is the process of becoming a Moor? So let's see what Grand Sheikh Richardson Dingwell did to facilitate this whole process. So he established a system, and it was approved by the reincarnated prophet, John Gibbonsville. And this system that he approved dealing with Grand Sheikh Richardson Dingwell was November the 30th, 1940. And by that being the case, the system which was founded with him was founded for having all the records, Moors, of the Moorish Americans changed throughout the U period, S period, A, etc. And the purpose of the system is to do this, to remove diluted names off documents issued to members of the Moorish Science Temple of America Incorporated by the authorities of the state, states, and nations, and to have their origin rectified on their documents, and also to provide a convenient way for the members who already have various documents in their possessions to notify the authorities of the corrections and changes that have been made through the Moorish Science Temple of America. Now you see that flow of things. Now this is the Bureau. This is a process which the Moors are not there. That's why to this day, you come into the temple, proclaim your nationality, get your title ill or bay, but you just temple Moors. You Charles Jones Bay in the temple. When you come out, you Charles Jones Negro Black. Because you haven't made any changes within the system. Why? Because no one have told you or taught you how to make the change. Even though it was mandated according to the Moorish Convention in 1970, the National Grand Sheikh at the time was F. Plummer Eel. And it was mandated that all the temples be registered dealing with this Bureau and be taught the 13th Amendment with 20 sections. But you don't see none of that. Why? That's the leadership. But the members don't know. They don't have a clue on what this is all about. But a lot of the leaders know. But they stuck on their ego, and they don't want to give the proper respect and honor to Grand Sheikh Richardson Dingwell and his brother Timothy for establishing the Moorish National Bureau of Statistics. And on the other end, we have the only federal Moorish case that's been adjudicated in our favor, and it's pertaining to what we teach and preach. And the motion was that the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments were never properly ratified and does not reflect the true provisions of the original 13th Amendment with 20 sections. So therefore, this government don't have jurisdiction. And this is for Moorish Americans across the country. Then they gave their points of authority, solid information, lawful facts, resolve all of this. And see, Grand Sheikh Richardson Dingwell was the first Moor to register with the federal government as a Moor under this process. They're not going to tell you none of this. All this is in the case. And that's why the leadership don't want you to know, because they reference him the sheiks in our temple and this policy was they turn it back on and say, oh, it's not about naturalization, it's nationalization. When we had the unity meeting not too long ago, that's one of the first things I brought to the floor. I say, anyone in here, show me where the prophet made reference to either one of the words, naturalization or nationalization. Show it to me. Quietness. Nobody said anything. It's not there. And I say, so somebody had to put it out, and then you ran with it. But when you do the definition of the nationalization as opposed to naturalization, you see there's a great difference. So why are the Moors continuing to promote nationalism? When you look up the definition, it's like government to government. When Germany defeated Poland, they came in and nationalized the people, the resources, etc. That's nationalization. But naturalization, the root word for naturalization is natural. We want to be natural beings. So when you look up the definition of it, it says the process, because everything in life is a process. It's the process of acquiring nationality after birth, which entitles you to the privileges of citizenship. But you don't want that, because that's naturalization. So the great majority of the leaders not on that page. So they're going to negate that and bring in some fluff. So let me continue to read this, because this is very important, and we need to understand what has taken place and why so many of us are still in the dark. And can you imagine if the temples would be registered in the Bureau? Now, this Bureau is set up for all of our people in this hemisphere, not just us here. All of our folks. And why I say that, because this whole Western Hemisphere, we descendants of the ancient Moabites. Whether you're Nicaraguan, Puerto Rican, Mexican, Jamaican, etc., all of us are of Moorish descent. And even back during the time, in ancient times, when our prophet made us aware in Acts 6, when he said the Moorish Americans are descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa, so we were the first. So all of our seed, we're all the same people, just different tribes. Whether you was an Inca, Mayan, Aztec, Olmec, still of Moorish descent. We have pictures with the Olmecs with the feathers on, and those statues down in East Island, they were called the Moai. They had feathers on, but see, the people don't want you to know this, and they don't want you to make that connection. But it's time now, people, to bring this home, because we've been suffering under a lie. So let me continue the importance of this. So then it also says that a member's name, when a member's name is changed to marriage or some other reason, an affidavit or form must be filled out and forwarded to the various parts of the state, states, and nations immediately, stating the change in reasons, though the records of the old identification must be kept until the new identification cards or certificates is received. Now, this new identification card will be burned the correct name, and that will be mailed to the members. See, back in the day, dealing with Social Security, we had such a good rapport with these governmental agencies. See, we had a liaison in our organization that all the members who wanted to have their Social Security cards corrected, we would compile them, compile all the members with their changes, and we would have a file, and we would take it to Social Security and deliver it to membership there, and then after a week or two, then the members would get their cards back with their titles to it, because that's how we had it set up. But see, this is national business, but you don't see that now, because of so much corruption and dissension and disunity within the organization. Rome stepped back. I've been in meetings with these officials where they say, well, yeah, baby, we know you're right. We're just waiting for y'all to get yourselves together. But they most don't want to get together. But see, Rome going to force us to get together sooner or later. Because as our prophet says, in unity there is strength. Divided we fall. and you see what's going on. But yet, they don't want to unify. Why? Because of me, because of ding wheels or whatever. See, stop studying man and deal with the law itself. That's the problem. See, because people start talking about this one and that one, so then they've been in your ear. Oh, he ain't about this and he this and he that. The prophet didn't bring this or that. No, we got to do thus and so. But what does the law say? If we stay on the law path, then we're going to be all right. But no, they don't want to do that. They'd rather have the members suffering, and we have a mechanism, a system of change that can correct all of this naught and these injustices, but yet, they don't want to do it. So anytime you have good, you're going to have evil there, because Satan is right there with you. Your problem going to be in your own circle. Satan is always there. Just like when you live in your life, you get that small voice to say, don't do this. Then you get the other voice say, oh, go ahead and do it. And we weak-minded, because when you hear that first small, still voice, that's the truth. That's the path that you need to be on, staying straight. But then you're going to get that other sideline. Don't do it. Don't do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. So you bend over and you do what is wrong, knowing all the time that it's not right, but you think you can get away with it. See, we all have gotten by, but you never get away because all you have done is create karma for yourself. It's one way to be born, but it's 1,000 ways to die. And a lot of things that occur to each and every one of us, that's karma. Whether you want to accept it or not. Come out your house one day, you trip and fall, break a leg, can't be repaired. Ride in your car, a wind come up, blow your car into a tree or something, anything. Because, see, our ancestors are in the midst, in the air, the water, the fire, and the earth. You can't get away from it. That's why it's always good to do right. And as the lesson say, do unto others as you want someone to do unto you. Stay high. Stay high. But you see what's going on. So let me continue with this. So now, by all this being what it is, we have a process. It's a system of change. And this is a system. Why? It's so you can get a new identification card, bearing the correct name, and all this is important and necessary in order that the states, and nations may maintain accurate records at all times of the corrections and changes in names. Now, this was the reason, Mose, that Noble Jolly the prophet, which is the reincarnated prophet, that's why a lot of Mose don't want to deal with the reincarnation, but yet when you read question 81 of 101, when it says who was the first person Jesus reincarnated into, so the prophet is letting you know that reincarnation is a fact. He put it right in your face. Who was the first person? So if there's a first, got to be a second, etc., because man does not die. We spirit. And our God will raise up a prophet amongst his own brethren, like unto himself, to be his message to the people. That's why Noble Jali was ordained and raised to come to us to do just that. So, continuing, well, that's why the prophet ordained Richardson Dingwell to carry out this system, because, see, this is a system of change. And check this out. And this was brought about because there was a misunderstanding about the prophet's teachings among the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. It was then, and it's still now. When you read the prophet's literature, go to the Moorish literature, the section that says the prophet's plea to the nation, the prophet is telling you there that the members of the Moorish Science Temple do not know what the movement is dedicated to. They don't. How are you going to have just a divine movement when the lessons are divine and natural? There's something has gone awry. Somebody has thrown a wrench somewhere to block it. But you can't stop this truth. You can delay it, but but you never stop it. Why? Because we want Allah's time, and His time is right. So continue with this. So the purpose, certain persons were appointed in positions to establish the Moorish National Bureau of Vital Statistics, and it was a meeting, and it was those members was Richard Dingle, John E. McQueen Bay, Daniel Lee Bay, and D.T. Cromwell Bay, etc. Now, check this out, and this is crucial, which the Moors don't know about, because they don't know about this national portion. It says the Moorish National Bureau of Vital Statistics, deriving its power and authority from what? Chapter 47 of the Holy Koran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, beginning at 9, 10, 11, and 12 verse. So what does that say? Then it also, in the Moorish Questionnaire, page 5, questions 90 and 91. So let's see what chapter 47 have to say, verse 9, 10, 11, and 12. Now, this is what it dictates. It says, according to all true and divine records of the human race, and this is 9. According to all true and divine records of the human race, there is no Negro, black, or colored race attached to the human family, because all the inhabitants of Africa were and are of the human race descendants of the ancient Canaanite nation from the Holy Land of Canaan. Now, these two documents that I made reference to, the questionnaire and the Circle 7, is the Prophet State Papers. Y'all need to look up the word State Papers in Black's Law and see how it's defined. You're going to see how authoritative this is. Check it out, State Papers. So then you go to number 10, and that says, what your ancient forefathers were, you are today without doubt or contradiction. That's why I was going back to the question earlier when the person said about being a Moor. So you born as a descendant of Moroccans born in America, but you have no records. You're not conscious of it. They're not teaching it. So what do you know? You only know what the man has taught you. He taught you through his schools of, I'll say, he hasn't educated you. He has indoctrinated you to his system of doing things. So by that being the case, you don't know. But your descent nature never changes. And like I stated earlier, there's no one who is able to change man from his descent nature of his forefathers unless his power extends beyond the universal creator Allah himself. So you see, well, if you say you're more, I said, well, prove it. Prove that you're more just because you say it. That'll fade in the wind. This is a paper government. So how are you going to prove yourself if you don't have the right paperwork that has been confirmed? Anybody can go to Kinko's or Staples or whatever and create a card. The way things are now with all this technology, you can just look at a card and create one yourself. I'm a Moor, and you just got a card. And a lot of that has been going on with folks who found a way to scam the people. They create some kind of process, and you got to pay thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, in order to get certain things done. And they give you this bogus paperwork, and they give you a spill of how it should be, and you all happy. But it's not representing Noble Drew Ali. It's representing whoever group that you're a part of. They don't have a charter. They didn't bring you your flag. They're not recognized anywhere, but you're not asking the right questions, so you don't know. You just got this paper saying that you are more, and you running around all happy thinking it means something, but then when you present it somewhere, they're going to deny you. Then who's the fool? So that's why I said man or woman does not know by being told. Ask questions. So we don't mind people asking our questions or asking questions to us because we the question and the answer. I don't care what agency you want to deal with, we done been there and got a paper trail to support what we teach and preach. We got the truth for our we have the proof of our truth. Absolutely. So continuing, and so then it goes to number 11. These holy and divine laws from the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the founder of the Uniting of the Moorish Science Temple of America, of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science of North America. Then we go to the questionnaire, page 5, question 90 and 91. Dictates as follows. Can a man be a Negro, black, colored, or Ethiopian? No. Why is that? Because man is made in the image and after the likeness of Allah. So then there's closure to this. Richardson Dinghill adopted as the corporate name for the above system the following: the Moorish National Bureau of Vital Statistics, held at 1406 Lawn Street, and at a meeting of fine acted as presiding officer, subscribed and affirmed to before me on the 30th day of November, A.D. 1942. Isn't that something? But now here's really a punch card. See, he had to meet with certain agencies to get them to confirm and recognize this system of change. Mose don't want to sit down and talk about this. This is critical, Mose. Really is. Then the government know. They've been on, since the 40s. Since the 40s. But yet we don't know as a collective in the Moorish movement. Don't know about this. You got Moors now trying to create some type of registry when the government has already confirmed this. So why you want to create another one? Just come on board and let's do this thing for the salvation of our people. No, you don't want to do that because you're all about yourself. The big I and the little you. That's how we do. You know that. And then check this letter. This is dated August 11, 1944. Dear sir, now he's sending these letters, this communication to these various agencies. See, this is from Mr. Richard Dingwell. I request that the national headquarters call in all of the Moors and have all of their records changed according to our authority. Now you all can see how it's being done, and I'm sending you one of our nationality cards and other papers bearing the correct name as proof that some of the one whom you all have requested of whom that cooperated with us in this great change as follows. So then these people that I'm getting ready to state confirm this. So, this is Mr. John J. Carlson, Director, Social Security Board. That was the first agency, Social Security. I'm going to get into this for a minute. Then the second person was Leon Elgin, Mr. W. Leon Elgin. He was the Commissioner of Motor Vehicles. Then the third person was Mr. Forrest Brumble. He was President of the Board of School Commissioners. And then we have this particular statement, which is so crucial. It says, the number of thy first form are as follows. That's a very profound statement. The number of thy first form are as follows. Then it says form OAAN-7003. Well, the OAAN means old age account number, and the number 703 factors out to 10. That's why the 10 to 1 is the God degree. First, that's why this is the number of thy first form. We are the first on the planet. We are the first chosen. We have dominion over the earth and everything because we was first. The royal house, first. I said earlier, Israel. Creator says, Israel, my son, even what? My firstborn. All this relates. So then it says, Federal Security Agency, Social Security Board. And check this out. This was July 1939. Many of us wasn't even born then. So you see how this been in place, and you don't know nothing about it. And then it says, very truly yours, Mr. Richard Dingwell, N.A. So now, we're going to do the punch card, really. And see, all this too was predicated on the Hebrew Code, March 31st, 1864, in the Senate, when they made reference to the naturalization process, when they said by compliance with requirements of this law we become citizens. We never complied with it. They said, Negro, you're free, go ahead. And we jumping around, we free from slavery. But they never naturalized us to make us citizens. So by the prophet being who he is and the mindset that he has, he made us aware of the free national constitution where you find the naturalization process. Because see, most people, most Moors, when they hear about naturalization, the first thing they think about is the 14th Amendment. And that's why so many of them say, well, you're all incorporated and you bringing us back up under the 14th Amendment. No. Especially when the prophet said that the 14th and 15th Amendments are not applicable to us, so why should you think we're going to be there? He didn't say the 13th wasn't. And this particular piece dealing with the Hebrew Code is referencing the 13th Amendment, dealing with your citizenship. It says, by compliance with the requirements of this law, we become citizens entitled to all the rights and the privileges and immunities of who? The native Hebrew. They say nothing about native Indians, native Hebrews. And then they give you the piece about compensation. Those who claim compensation for the emancipated slave. You know, they're not talking about reparations, they're talking about compensation. So I'm going to share this piece about getting back to that letter, the number of thy first form. So now remember I made reference to AAN 703, right? Now, those who have the resurrection book, page 28 and 29, so there's a typo dealing with the caption. It says nationalized or naturalization. It should be naturalization or naturalization. Because I told Tim he had a problem with that. He's supposed to. But there's other typos in here, but nevertheless, let's deal with the bullet point. Now remember, we're talking about OAAN 7003, Social Security Administration, right? Now to prove that this is real and the government substantiated, and this is, see, that form that I'm telling you all about is the form that we were supposed to use relative to the information I just read about the Moorish Bureau of Vice Statistics. That form was set up just for us to use to make the change. So let's see how the government confirmed this. Now this is on page 29. Second paragraph. It says we went back to Juali and waited 2 years for orders. And in 1944, the orders were given. When we went back to the headquarters, that major wasn't there. He had programmed another major. And this major told us he knows the old nigger story. This headquarters don't know how to make the change on how to change a slave to a man. Now check this. Now this is the headquarters. This is the military. And why would they have to go to the military? Because the military is our protectorate. And when you deal with Lincoln's executive will, does not he say the executives, the military and naval authority thereof is to do what first? Recognize us. See, this is a part of the recognition. Recognize us, maintain us. That word maintain is in the Bureau language. Recognize, maintain, and do no act or acts to repress us in any efforts we make for our freedom. This is government, the executive. So everything up under the executive must follow suit. So let me continue. So then it says, he said, so the major said, what form do you use? I mean, what form you use? It's a question. He asked a good question. Well, what form are you using? So now check what Richard Dingley said. He said, OAAN 703 federal security agent. See, when the major asked what form, he presented the form that they were using to make this change. And that form was OAAN 703 federal security agent. So then the major looked at the form and said, the government changed your name, all right. Go back and send this in and others who have cooperated with you in making this change and what you want. And I will say, many times when we would go into D.C. to have these meetings with these officials, they would always ask two questions. What do you want? And what did we didn't do? They would ask me that all the time. And a lot of times I would tell them all, I say, if you a sheik with sheiks and you doing this business, always have letterhead with you. Because, see, they're going to ask you certain things. And by you being an official of the organization, not just say it. You can take out the letterhead, put the person's name to it, your name, and write in what you want them to do. Give it to them. You're cutting away the chase. You don't have to go back and think about what it is or wait 10 or 30 days before you get back. You're right there. You're an official. Write it on the letterhead, on the paper. Date it. Give it to them and get a receipt that they received that document that day with the person's name. So now you in the door. Now you have given them what you want on official Moorish letterhead from this organization. Y'all understand where I'm going? One time, they tried to play a little trick on me. We went to the Rayburn building to meet with some Congress people, and the official was not there. He had left the seat. I don't know whether he got promoted or whatever, but anyway, the person that was on the letter wasn't the officiating officer at the time. So when we asked for that particular person, they said, oh, no, he's no longer with us. So now the letter was dated to this person, right? And by me being a part of the union, I learned a lot about these Europeans and how they do things. So then the secretary thought she had us when she said that. So then this is what I told her. I said, Miss, so-and-so is no longer with you all now. Well, who is it? So-and-so, so-and-so. I said, okay. I said, you got some whiteout? Yes, I do. I said, can I have it? So when she gave me the whiteout, I whited out the person's name that initially the letter was for, put the person who was there then, gave it back to her. Her eyes got so big. She wasn't looking for that one. I said, now, the only thing changes is the officiating officer. So now we got the right one, so here it is. So she gave me my receipt, and we rolled out. So I'm just saying how this thing works, and there's certain things you can do. But anyway, continuing. So now, when he said about the form, when he said the government changed it, right? Then he said, go back, and we'll take the matter up from that point on. So what I'm saying to y'all, that form OAAN 703 was our form. Now, we have the original copy of the document, but I was told by one of our good noble brothers who did some research on what I asked him to do, and he told me the other day, he said, Grand Sheikh, I went into, the system dealing with this and got who he's talked to, but they told him they couldn't reveal it because why? Because of national security. You know why? Because they're stealing the money. But we're going to deal with this because that's our form. That's why you had the SS5, so now they rolled the 7003 over to the SS5. But see, they're congruous. You can do both. See, that 7003 was our form to make these changes, then with our names in their system. And that's why the verbiage in the Be It Known says the system, then we'll set up the system of change. That's what it was, a system of change. And that's what we had to do, and that's what we must do to right this wrong. See, that's our form. And now everybody want to down Grand Chief Richard Dingley because he's claimed to be the reincarnated, or he's under the reincarnated prophet, and we look at him as Prophet Noble Drew III, so they don't like that. But they're not looking at the great works that this brother has done, him and his brother, for the salvation of all of us. See, they don't know about this part. And that's a travesty. But nevertheless, it is what it is. But the main thing is that when the major looked at that form and said, the government changed your name, that was key. And the other part is when he said they didn't know how to make the change. So he gave them the mechanism, the means to make the change on a form. Remember I said over and over, this is a paper government and everything is done by a form. The Form 1099 is the highest form, and anything in internal revenue under the Form 1099 is a lot of perks there. They just mirrored the prophet, his authority dealing with the 1099. But this form, y'all have more technical capabilities than I do. Just do the research on that old age account number. See what's behind it. They set up a trust fund for us. They had insurance, survivors insurance, all of this, y'all. And when people pass, the wife, the husband, the children are supposed to be getting paid. Y'all don't know nothing about it. They put it up under the table. And then they have created what is called, these people have taken your money and they have invested it. Your money, created trustees that you don't know nothing about handling your money that you didn't approve. You don't know nothing about these trustees. And when you don't claim that money, so they take the money and invest it in their behalf, not yours. But I'm just saying this to you all, the significance of what this is. And being that the question was posed the way it was, I'm just getting a little bit deep with it because I know y'all don't know. But this is real, y'all. This is real. So all this is pertaining to that first question about the process. What exactly is the process of becoming a more? Remember I said everything is a process. So this is the process to take us back home through the government. And just to prove that Grand Chief Richard Dingley was the man of the hour, like I said earlier, he's in the federal court case. It's all about him. And his brother Tim said, and this is what he says. Now, he said, we sent the information to the major, and in reply, we received a communication from General Hersey's assistant director, enclosed of some communications from him. Now, we met with this particular brother. His name was James Evans Eel. When you go to page 71 of the resurrection at the convention, they gave James Evans Eel his title Eel, and he was the liaison between us. He was the assistant civilian aide to the general. We met with him on 3 occasions here at home in D.C., and he confirmed what's in the book. So Tim is saying, Grand Chief Timothy was saying, he said, enclosed with some communications from him, the assistant director later arranged for a conference for us to meet the general. Then he says, as I have already stated in this briefing, the general turned us over to the Department of Defense. Then he says in later years, we don't know how late the years were, but he says in later years, a file number 1-17 was from that civilian aid office on this subject. So he filed his files later, but Grand Chief Richard Dingley's file number is 5-39. That's why you see it on your paperwork. And National Archives. I have some of them files to validate the general's letters and all of that. But my point to everyone is to let you all know this is real, people. And we better get right and do the right thing. Stop studying the man and study the law that the man represents. We'll be all right. But you know how we are. We have the will to choose. So once again, that still small voice will say, do the right thing. But that crooked voice going to say, don't pay it no mind. And so many of us, we got to have tangibility before we can realize that something is real. This is the tangibility because it's already been confirmed in other documents we have from the government that's confirmed our process, but the Moors don't want to deal with it. But that's okay. They're going to suffer because of such. We're going to keep moving this wheel. That's why all of you who come into this movement got skills. Think high about your nation and what your role is, because you bringing your spoke to the wheel. The hub is Noble Duali. The will is Allah. So you got your degrees from these schools. You ain't doing nothing with them. So do the right thing. Come home. Look at what Noble Duali did for us by the guidance of our God Allah. He sent us a prophet so we can get things right. That's what it's all about, doing right. So if you have a paper trail to substantiate a governmental authority that has been confirmed in this de facto government, because all this will do is take you back to the original setup of government, which is your free national constitution or the organic constitution, because they're congruous, so they all are the same. Those first 7 articles, and remember, we represent that 7. So you see the significance and the importance of what this is. And there's other things I can get into to validate all of this, but that's at another time. You can't feed a lot of people so much. You got to digest what you can get at the time. You know, you don't want to regurgitate and, hell, just forget about it all or just get sick on it. Take your time. Just like you're doing a baby. You got to spoon feed that baby. You can't stuff nothing down the baby's throat. Have to nurture that baby. So this is nurturing this truth in you so you can see the benefit of what it all entails. So, my good brother, I believe, well, I'm not going to say believe, I know my time has been exhausted. So I'm putting the period behind my conversation, my good noble brother. So all of you nobles on this call, we got this, y'all. Whether you want to accept it or not, Allah is leading on. His victory is sure. Stay with Allah so you can receive the victory. Islam, Moses, Islam is always my pleasure and honor to be a part of you. Thank you so much. Peace.
Islamism. I appreciate you, our beloved brother, National Grand Sheikh of the Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America Incorporated. Number 13, the Moorish American National Republic. We definitely appreciate, give you honors for all that you have done, will do, and continues to do, our beloved brother, Islam.
Thank you, Mo. Thank you. You know how we go. Thank you.
Indeed. Full circle. A man honors man, he honors Allah. Islam.
Absolutely.
Yes. Appreciate you, National Grand Sheikh. All right, Mo. The National Grand Sheikh has summarized and brought closure to our subject matters, our questions on the floor tonight. Trusting everyone took some notes. If not, you can go back and listen to our recording. All of our recordings are uploaded to our website. We do ask you to at least give our webmaster at least 48 hours to have the recording upload. And again, you can visit our website by doing so, www.MoorishamericanNationalRepublic.com. You want to click on the resource tab, scroll down to Town Hall Recording, National Town Hall Recording. And there you will be able to see our archive. And again, you'll be able to tune in to this previous recording that will be posted. Islam Moors, we're going to close the same way as we open with our Moorish American prayer. All who's willing, I'd like to please ask you all to stand in our Moorish American posture. We stand erect with our heels together, facing the east. Our toes are separated at a 45-degree angle. Our upper arms are parallel to the floor. Our forearms are perpendicular. We have 5 fingers erect and together, closed tightly on our left. We have 2 fingers erect, closed tightly on our right. One, Allah, Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Drew Ali. Ameen. Islam Moors, and again, we have a total of 56 callers on the line with us. We definitely appreciate your energies and your presence. We will be back, well, we will resume next week's creation, Sunday. Same time, same place, same state. Area code 443-961-4434. Please, family, invite your family, your friends, and your associates to tune in with us each and every Sunday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. With that being stated, more, go in peace, travel lightly, remain safe, and keep saying more. Until next time, peace, peace,